All right, good Friday to everyone. We're now in day 5 of our Lenten reading through 1st and 2nd Samuel, focusing today on chapters 9 and 10. When we left off, Israel had requested a king. They wanted central leadership. They wanted to appear like their ancient Near East counterparts. They were warned that a king is going to use you for his own agenda. Send your sons to fight his wars. He's going to tax the people, cause you to build, and he's going to benefit himself. However, that didn't matter to the Hebrews at this point. So in today's reading now, as we go into chapter number 9, we find the character of Saul introduced to us. Now, he has the marks of a politician. His father is pretty prominent. Saul is of the tribe of Benjamin, a small tribe that was, but that had a good amount of honor. Benjamin was the only son of Jacob, who was born in the land of Canaan in what would become the Promised Land. And there were other elements. Even though it was a small tribe, it was honorable. And Saul himself, he is tall, and he is strikingly handsome. All good makeups and characteristics for a politician. In fact, I saw a graph that was put together at one point in time concerning the height of presidential candidates here in the United States, and the electorate tends to favor those with superior height. There's something about the presidential look, I suppose, and so Saul looked presidential. However, before he would ever become king, he had bigger problems. His father's donkeys had wandered off, and Saul was trying to find them. And of course, anyone would want to find their livestock that had escaped. Of course, in those times, money was certainly not at a surplus in that world, and your livestock was important. It was something that needed to be found. And so somebody advises Saul that Samuel is in the area, and perhaps he can give an oracle and let you know where these donkeys are. Saul's going to meet up with Samuel, and instead of, at least initially, receiving an oracle regarding the whereabouts of the donkeys, Saul is going to find out that he will be king. And then as it goes into chapter 10, Samuel is even going to anoint Saul to be king. And very early on in the language that we read it, that, Saul seems to be a pretty humble guy. He's the son of a prominent person. He's tall and handsome, but he's pretty humble. Of course, it'll be interesting to see how his character develops in subsequent readings. One might expect for the tribe of Judah to have produced the first king. After all, Judah was the eldest of Jacob's sons, and therefore, and in biblical literature, even in the Old Testament, there was prophetic utterances speaking to that royal and kingship authority of Judah. However, that's not going to be the case yet. We'll see how that develops. But there is also in Scripture, in the Old Testament, an idea of role reversal, of the younger being served by the older. We saw this with Jacob and Esau. Saw this with Isaac and Ishmael to a certain extent. Saw this with Joseph and his brethren. And so it's part of that continuation of that theme. We'll see it again within the writings of Samuel. Okay, so Saul, he has found his donkeys, but in the process, he becomes some sort of prophet, and people are noticing and surprised that he's even prophesying. All right, so it becomes time to make it public that Saul is going to become king. And so Samuel takes them through a process of casting lots. Even though Samuel knows who it is, there's got to be this public process, okay? They're going to cast lots, and it's going to fall to a certain tribe, then to a certain family, then to a certain household, and then to a certain individual, of course, to be Saul. Well, when it comes time for Samuel, may I present to you your first king, Saul. Well, Saul had disappeared. He was hiding among materials and equipment. He seems very humble at this point, not wanting the public attention, which stands in contra to the typical behavior of a politician, and gives an interesting backdrop to how Saul is going to develop as a character. And God is going to give Saul a manual of how to be king. There's going to be some who are doubters, some who are wondering why this fell on Saul, but it says here that in the verse 24 or verse 23, when he took his position after he had hidden himself, Samuel says, "This is the one that God has chosen. There is none like him in all the people." These are high remarks, very much so. And the people, long live the king, they're supportive of this. There's some wicked people who aren't agreeing with this, but it says here that back in the earlier part of this chapter, that Saul will rule the people and deliver them from the power of the enemies that surround them. So he's starting off with all of the verbal affirmations and of success, the blessings of God, and as we go into next week, we'll see how this turns out. And thank you for joining with me for this first week, and look forward to continuing our reading into next week. And may God add a rich blessing to the reading of His Word.